Everyone, PL Stewart here, and I am back with another review regarding a series that has really become quite special to me and near dear to my heart, and that is the Coming of Age series by E.G. Radcliff. So this review is a lot of it is because I just finished the um, the last book in the series, The Wild Court. So I decided to give a quick overview of the series, another perhaps under the radar series that I think deserves a lot more attention. And so just to give a kind of a summary overview of that series and talk a bit about The Wild Court. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know E.J. Radcliffe, another wonderful indie author. She's been an SPFBO self-published fantasy blog off semi-finalist. Um, this series is phenomenal. It's essentially YA, but I think that um, of all the YA type indie series I've read, and I haven't read a lot of them, this is certainly the best by far. It's outstanding. E.G. is a phenomenal writer. I will hold up the books here, the series, and the covers are just absolutely fabulous. So this is The Last Prince. That's the first book in the series, Coming of Age, The Hidden King. Sorry about the glare there. If I hold it over there, you can see it better. Um, and then we have The Wild Court. That is the last book in the series that I just finished up. And again, these books, I mean, they're so extremely well put together. The covers are phenomenal, very extremely cleanly edited. The writing is just fantastic. E.G.'s prose is wonderful. That's one of the aspects of the book that I felt was outstanding, accessible yet elevated, and just some extremely beautiful, poignant passages that really stay with you. So yeah, I really do love this series. Um, I'll talk a bit about the first book, The Hidden King, because that's your obviously your gateway to the series, and I'll talk about that first. And it was, I tell you, the entire series and The Hidden King, definitely character driven. I mentioned the prose, enchanting prose. The world building is rich. Um, all these books are really smooth reads, and they're not too long, around 300, 400 pages each. The Wild Court, the last one, is the biggest book of the series, and that comes in at just around 460. So not reads that will, if you're used to reading the big fantasy chonkers, that will take you long at all, but definitely packs a punch considering it's relative to its size, and really, really good. So with The Last Prince, there's a lot of um, fancy tropes in here done right. Especially the trope of the unwitting or reluctant heir coming into their own, but they are they feel very fresh and well done, and these tropes and in the first book, The Last Prince, it starts off with um, I tell you, these books have really made an impact on me. It starts off with Aid. He's an orphan, and he's been rescued by uh, another fellow that eventually becomes his partner. And his partner's name is Ninian, and he knows more about Aid's actual heritage than Aid does. And they also Aid and Ninian adopt this child, an orphan, called Ronan. And the three of them, they form an amazing family unit, and they struggle to survive on the mean streets of this world, part of this world that Radcliffe has created called the Maze. It's essentially a slum, right? It's got gangs, thieves. It's a place where life is cheap, and death can often come quickly. And Aid, the main character, so he gets by like rummaging for scraps. And Ninian, his partner, he's the main breadwinner, and he um, basically risks his life in these like boxing type matches. Um, in any case, it's a tough existence for the three of them, but um, Aid and Neenan, they focus on taking care of their little guy, Ronan, and he's so sweet and he's the center of the world. Um, and that's all I'm going to say in terms of spoilers, in terms of about the plot. But this book was fabulous. Again, the prose is glorious. It's very clear and compelling plot, and the characterization is just it's splendid. It's outstanding. You'll find yourself kind of this one of those books where I talk about this when the prose is so good, you kind of stop to smell the roses and you reread certain passages, and that's definitely something I found with this book. And Radcliffe's descriptions and how she paints the world they're just so vivid, and yeah, it's awesome. Um, there is definitely, in some ways, it is. There is a bit of a predictability feeling with the book, and if you don't like your comfortable, familiar fancy tropes, you probably won't like it. But like for me, this had that the tropey stuff had no impact on the enjoyment. The characters were just so good, the writing was just so good, and there is. I think what will really get people, especially if you're a Grimdark fan, is that there are a lot of really tough themes in this book and in this series. Um, you're this is a series that can actually, for someone like me who's essentially a puddle of goo under everything, this series brought me to tears at times. It was quite moving. There's a lot of darkness that runs through these novels, but there's also a sense of hope and overall optimism. There's violence, there's pain, there's torture, and there's a lot of tragedy. But then there's still that light, that hope. But yeah, these books really pack a punch emotionally, and a surprising punch. But that's a credit to the skill of the writer. It will really invoke a lot of strong emotions from you. You'll get attached to the characters, and you'll get attached to um, rooting for them and wanting to see them see their way out of situations that are oftentimes seemingly hopeless. So, but yeah, it is just overall that first book really hooked me, and maybe just solidified that I was going to move on with the series and read every single book. And it took me a while to get there, but I finally finished. The second book is an amazing follow-up. It's kind of almost like a prequel in some ways, and kind of going back in time a bit with the second book, David King, and it it is. I think the third book. Wow, I mean, it finds Aid in a different role, um, and now he's essentially Ronan, is also grown up quite a bit, kind of the rebellious teenager, and there's a lot of crazy circumstances that occur in this book. There's plenty of action, but Radcliffe doesn't stop really the emotional wrangling. I tell you, so much of the way Radcliffe writes, it just really gets you right here. And so there's again dark themes. There's like abusive relationships. Um, there's a lot of the themes in Radcliffe's books. Although it's YA, it typically it's something that a lot of people might look for trigger warnings for. But it's so well done, and again, it's so emotive. This series is definitely one that you will want to check out if you're. I think it'll appeal to a lot of Grimdark fans. It will definitely appeal to fans of. I don't want to say romancy, but there's definitely romantic elements. But again, it's more of a. In the second book, they're more prevalent, but much more. It's of an undertone throughout the book, but so well done. Again, this is a series that I found really compelling, and it's emotional. It's a wild ride. But really really good, and that's why E.G. Radcliffe is one of my favorite indie authors. So, in any event, this is my quick review of The Wild Court, book three in the coming of eight, and an overview of the entire series. Go check out this series. I put a links in the video down below for Amazon, and I really think it's a worthwhile investment of your time. If you like very emotive, dark YA fantasy, really great prose and character driven, with just amazing characters that you're gonna love, that's a book for you. So, and this is a series for you. So thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.